if you are in the Eastern time zone, and good morning if you are Pacific. Hello, everyone. I am Natalie, Colalillo, founder and CEO of Happy Healthy Women, and welcome to our Tuesday Live. Today, I'm joined by the most incredible woman, Reenee Khanna, and I mean, there's so many things. Reenee is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, I will say. She is skilled in so many things. She is so wanting to help and serve other women in their health and in their wellness and in their business. And so she fits right in here with Happy Healthy Women. I'm sure most of you can attest to that if you've met her. And Reenee is also a trailblazer in our Toronto West branch. So I'm super excited to have you here today, Reenee. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm so excited for this chat today. So, normally, if you know Reenee, normally we're talking about health and wellness. We're talking about, she's also a Bollywood dancer and instructor. But today we're talking about social media, because Reenee has literally cracked the code of her social media experience and how to attract people. And so she touched base and said, can I chat about this? I'm so passionate about it. And I said, for sure, like anything to help the women in this community. So Reenee, what are we talking about today? We're talking about a social media, platform that you have, or a way that you have found to do social media. And I use the term set it and forget it.
Yes.
But yeah, talk to us a little bit. Well, first of all, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So I'm a clinical herbalist. That's my main thing. And I help women with their moon cycle. So I help women stop painful periods and PMS. And I offer an online course for that. I also run the dance school, Dance Bollywood. And I think that in my journey, because I'm like a multifaceted entrepreneur, I've had to learn how to manage multiple social media brands and put myself out there in different ways, and build relationships and rapport with different types of clients. So that's kind of what I thought, we could really talk about today, and how that, for other women, because one of the things I kind of got inspired to do this chat, because we were in a mastermind, I think a few weeks ago, and I actually asked you, I was like, what do I do? Because I have so many different brands, and when I talk about them, I have a lot of clients on a social media, or followers on a social media, that aren't interested necessarily in hearing about my herbal remedies or hearing about moon cycle alignment. They're there to watch my dances. So how do you kind of manage that strategy, and what do you do? What is really, like, it really made me think, what is the purpose of social media? Why are we even doing it? Because a lot of times it feels, for many people I talk to, like it's just guilt, it's pressure, everyone else is doing it. This is how you're gonna find your market, your clients. But like, I really needed to get into the heart of why I was doing it, and then come up with a brand new strategy around it.
Mm-hmm. Love it. And so you have found this new way. So talk to us a little bit about the workings of this way of social media that you have found to be working for you.
I think for me, it really came down to, you just want to connect with people. You want to connect with them. So I ended up actually creating 3 different Instagram accounts. So we have so many different channels, right? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn. Now there's Clubhouse, and there's Twitter. There's so many different ways that you communicate with them. So you got to find what works for you. Like Instagram is a lot about pictures, and it's a lot about that visual or videos. Whereas Facebook, you can put a lot more informative stuff. You can write up a lot in your post, and people are actually reading it. Whenever I post, my posts in Facebook with more writing get a lot more views and likes than, just a video in Facebook.
Right.
You got to figure out, number one, like what's best for your brand. Where are your people at? Once you've figured that out, it's literally just building a connection with them. It's about talking to them without necessarily talking about your business and everything you do, but everything around your business. So, for my moon cycle course, like that was very important for me. I was like, I want to talk to women about their periods, but I don't always want to be talking about the herbal remedies, and I don't always want to be talking about ancient medicine, because there's so many other parts of a cycle, like a woman's cycle, that are funny. Like there's a lot of, I'll post a lot of memes that get women kind of laughing, laughing about our own misery, but kind of lightening it up a little bit, right? Yeah. So for me, it came down to that. It's like, how do I connect with people about a topic or a subject that I'm really passionate about, without always having to talk about my business? And then I started to break away like all the kind of structures that people have built around, like you need to post quotes and you need to post, there's all these guidelines around, what are the best practices, and kind of just said, I'm going to post the things that really feel good to me and really resonate with my clients. So what are they liking? What questions are they asking? If you're going to shoot a video or post a video, make sure it's answering the question that someone's actually asked you, that someone's posted in your DM or posted in your comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so you have found that it's much more about connecting, about building relationships with people, about sharing things that are more authentic, right? And so this is like, we talk about selling without selling, and this is exactly what we talk about, in HHW. It's about being truthful about what's going on in your life and in your world and in your business. And it talks about so many aspects, and not just like, hey, buy my program, or, hey, purchase this product that I have. Yeah.
And I even went down the road of like, hey, this is what I know, right? Because you want to build that authority too. You don't want to just connect. You want to build the authority. But again, it's about making it so relevant to people, because otherwise you're not connecting. So you've got to be, even if you want to show that you have knowledge in your subject or in whatever you're offering, it should always be answering a question that that's being posed to you, that you're actually hearing. And this is where I love the Facebook groups, because they're so interactive, and I find I get a lot more conversation happening, and I'm not always the one posting. Somebody else can post something, and then you get to know where your clients are at. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? And even Instagram stories, right? You want to ask a lot of questions in there and do a lot of polls to see where people are at. What are they experiencing? What are they feeling? And what can you do to support them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and yeah, always having that servant's heart, I think, is such a great, it doesn't go away just because you're on social media, right? Like there's a lot that you can do there as well to serve. So we have a question from Anne saying, oh, I love that. So do you mean mining what's in your feed from followers?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, right, always reading all the comments. I try my best to go through the direct messages as well, and answer the questions in the message if I can, and then create a video around whatever they're asking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk about Facebook groups for a little while, because that's a super big way to create relationships. And so, like, how often are you in Facebook groups? How much are you actually like in there creating conversation? Do you go there intentionally to create conversation? How does that work for you, Reenee?
So for me, my Facebook group, the way it started out was, again, it was literally just support and bringing together women that have like a common interest, right? That support each other and raise each other up. So for me, it's all around moon cycle alignment, and women that are really, curious about the wisdom of their body, and they're curious about their cycles and how it relates to the moon and manifesting. And so it really just started off that way. It was like, what can I say to them? What can I share with them? What can I tell them that I'm doing today or doing this week or feeling that will provide them some support or get a conversation going or be a place for them to share their feelings, where they're with like-minded people, right? Because that's what the group is all about. It's about finding those like-minded people where you can have those conversations that you can't necessarily have all the time.
Absolutely, right? And the more knowledge is shared, and the more, it's an open forum for people to ask questions. That's what I love about Facebook groups. I'm in one about my dog's health, for example, right?
Yeah.
And that like group is incredible, because it's different from like the answers that I'm going to get from her vet, right? And I'm going to get like more holistic answers in that group. And so I'm constantly in there, asking questions and replying to other people's questions, because it just feels good to be spreading that knowledge and sharing that information with others, right? And to be receiving that too. So would you say that like how much are we tapping into? So this is where I'm going to ask you about the intuition piece of social media. Okay. How much are we tapping into what feels good when we're actually posting versus what we think we have to post, Reenee?
Oh my gosh, you're asking. So I'm like always the 100% go with your heart, go with your intuition person. But yeah. Having said that, that's why, we called it Set It and Forget It, today's conversation. And you can't always have that pressure to share what's in your heart and share what's, what's coming to you intuitively, because sometimes you need time to make sense of it. Sometimes nothing's coming in. You don't even feel like conversing or talking. So how do you get out on social media? That's where it's important to do the set it and forget it and really have those things, so you know what, tapping right into the moon cycle, like when you're in that mid phase of your cycle. So before ovulation, and after, when you're bubbling with energy and you have lots to say to people and, lots of conversations you want to have, that's the best time to create posts and set it and forget it, meaning schedule them and forget about them, so that when there's times your intuition isn't really heightened or your heart's has nothing to say, you still have posts that you can keep sharing with people, because they're still eager and they're still waiting to hear from you. So you do want to have something there to post. So yeah, I'm total. If it's not coming from the heart, don't post. You're better off not posting for a week or two, or just saying like, hey, I've been, busy or not feeling up to it or whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure. But also, what's that?
I'm curious to know about you, because I know that you're also kind of more intuitive. Do you go by the same thing, or do you think?
Yeah, I'm very similar to what you were saying. Like sometimes I'll just feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much content in this brain right now. I got to get it out and just like post. And then sometimes like my stories are like crickets and I'm just super quiet in there, but I've got stuff going on my feed. And then sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to tell people this now. And so I'm in my stories all the time, But I think it really is for me, social media is a tool to show my truth. And I know that that's a lot of what you're talking about too, right? To really show like what's really going on and like how, like, this is what's going on in my business, right? And if you love it, fantastic. You're here, you're following, great. And if you don't, that's okay, because there's like other people doing other things that you might love, right? So I think it's a fantastic tool. And so when we talk about set it and forget it, is that what you're talking about, or is there other components to that, Reenee?
So that's where I think the set it and forget it, there's basically 6 categories, right? So I have to write them down, so I'll never remember them. So you want to make sure that you're putting up promotional posts, right? Because if people are coming to your social media and they like you and they like what you're doing, they want to know how to get to work with you. So if you're not posting that clear path to how to build a further or a client, practitioner relationship with you, then you're missing out. So you definitely want to set up promotional posts. You want to have posts where you're talking about, testimonials or people that have worked with you and sharing maybe interviews, like even, I was gonna say even stuff like this, right? Where you're getting your members to come on and talk and, talk about their businesses and what they do. So spotlighting people, I think, and giving them an opportunity to share. Groups are really good for that too, right? Where you're talking about, in Happy Healthy Women, we're all allowed to share about our business or share tips or whatever it is we're doing. So allowing people to share their personality as well. And then there's the personal stuff, what we were talking about in our stories, where we want to share our heart and what's going on in our life and what we're doing. And then educational, which I was alluding to before, where you want to talk about, you want to show that you have knowledge in whatever it is that you're selling or whatever it is you're presenting. So again, make sure you're answering the relevant questions when you present that educational stuff. And then quotes. Quotes is such a big one. People they really love quotes because it's like a one-liner that resonates with people and it speaks volumes about how you feel about something or what your views are.
Right.
So it's another one that I think works well. Quotes or even memes, I think, are great. I'm noticing that works really well.
Yeah, for sure. Just giving like people a little burst of inspiration. I love quotes. I learn a lot, like, through scrolling, like it's something that sort of amps me up, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I have to remember that, right? Like, I have to remember to not take that personally. And I have to remember that, there's the hustle is like, don't worry, right? Like there's all these little messages.
So do you ever find, like, another issue I find, which is why I like the set it and forget it concept, is that you go on, you're like, okay, I want to post something on social media. And then you start looking around for inspiration. And the next thing you know, you're scrolling and you're scrolling and it's been like half an hour, and you're like, I've just been scrolling through Instagram, all morning, and I feel like I didn't get anything done.
Yeah.
And you didn't have anything to post, and then out of guilt and pressure, you just post something, right?
Right.
Which is why the set it and forget it is so good, because it actually cuts out, for me at least, I've noticed, cuts out all of that wasted time that you spend scrolling when, if it's set and you've forgotten about it, you're not actually having to go on there every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I do recommend, if you are going to scroll, just a hot tip from me, to make it a mindful scroll, right? Like, really be mindful of, like, what am I scrolling through? What serves me, here? Like, is this like, am I watching like the Real Housewives kind of stuff on my feed, or am I actually watching stuff that's going to serve me in my business? Or is this someone that I can reach out to as someone to talk to about my business, right? Like, I think that there really has to be some mindfulness going on there, so that we're not just wasting an hour where we could have been like doing some income producing activity or some self-work or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. I'm checking to see. I don't see any more questions, but I know, Reenee, that you have some ways that people can learn more about this. And so I was going to post up your Instagram feed here. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share in terms of, the set it and forget it, or what's been really helpful for you in terms of your social media?
So, I mean, the only thing I will say is, like, I am right now, I've been working with a mentor, and she's opened up a program, and the opportunity arose for me to be an ambassador for her. So as a way to give back to the female entrepreneurial community, I do offer once a month free workshops, business workshops, and I will talk about those more on my Instagram, just as a way to help other women entrepreneurs build their business. So you can come and check those out, and of course, there's always the Moon Cycle courses as well.
Yeah, for sure. Did you want to share a little bit about the Moon Cycle courses while we're here and we have like 1 or 2 more minutes?
100%. So I'm so excited. I've been working with my mentor, and we are launching my course in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be called, it is called How to Stop Painful Periods and PMS in 90 Days or Less. So I've basically taken, for those who are not familiar, moon cycle alignment is just an ancient way of looking at women's menstrual cycles. And when I discovered this wisdom, I was like, okay, if I took this and I partnered it with what I know about Ayurveda and what I know about herbalism, there are ways for women to nourish themselves differently. And for me, nourishment means it means diet, it means lifestyle, it means social, mental, emotional, like what we're doing on a daily basis. Our routines are nourishment as well, because it's how we're kind of nourishing how we show up, right? So there's so many different things a woman can do throughout her cycle to put herself at ease. And what I started to notice is that when women did this, PMS started to disappear, because we're starting to treat root causes of things that we didn't even know were root causes, because we're starting to tune into our bodies, we're starting to listen, we're starting to I guess really just tune into that inner wisdom that we have. So I decided to create a protocol, a 90-day protocol that can guide women through stopping painful periods and PMS using this knowledge. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And so if you have not seen, Reenee's, you can find so much on her Instagram. You could, she just is such a wealth of knowledge, and with her workshops and her course coming up. So definitely check her out, follow her 100%, because you will learn so much just by seeing her post. But Reenee, thank you for being here today. We covered a lot in 20 minutes, I gotta say.
I think so. It's just so much fun. Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and thanks to everyone who tuned in. And of course, if you want to learn more about, what Reenee has learned in social media, then touch base with her, and she can direct you to the right places, and follow her at reenee.khanna. And of course, if you are looking to, learn more about how you can step into leadership within Happy Healthy Women, we would love to tell you more as well. So check out hhwglobal.com. All right, everybody. Well, have a fantastic day. Reenee, have an amazing day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys all soon. Take care. Bye.